accessible, like all of those. So I just went with like the standard with the buttons.
Because my Bitmoji classroom is that minus the desks with me in front of it. I'll have to get Kristen to send you a picture of it.
Oh, I would love to see it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's
So,
cool. How was today your
be,
first day in person?
I got much more done at work because separation of church and state, you know how it is. It's like I have to be at work. I can be more productive than I can be here at home. So
Yeah.
it was good. I still miss the buzz in the classroom though. I can't get that. I cannot get my kids to unmute themselves when they come in. And it's just, it's killing me. But
To unmute or stay muted?
yeah, no, to unmute themselves. Like I like the buzz when they come in to talk to them. I mean, I got high school kids, so you can actually have a conversation with them. And they like,
I think that's a setting. You can make it when you put it in, you can make it so that they're not automatically muted.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that then. Okay, I'm gonna do that. So
I think each time it resets itself. So before you connect, you'll have to do it each time.
Okay, cool. Well, good luck. I won't hijack your meeting anymore. I'll go.
How fun is your background?
I just said to Kristen and Ryan, it took all of these things to get, Paul has a whole setup. I literally have a green screen like I'm a meteorologist.
That's so cool.
And these two huge lights that came with it. So.
That is really awesome.
Yeah. The kids
and
like
your yellow, it's like, looks like a very professional presentation. Hold on. I am going to figure out how to make you a co-presenter. You could probably tell me better than I know where to do it.
So go right at the bottom with the participants.
Okay.
So when you click it and open everybody up.
Yep. Okay, I see. Yeah, got it.
It's in more.
Okay. Changing the host to you. Okay. Change the host to you. Let's see, what time is it? No, wait, one more minute and then we will get started. You guys having a good day? Anybody? What day is this? So weird. The holiday threw me all kinds of me off.
Hi, Brittany.
Oh.
I love
hey,
on. You look so cute.
Thanks. I just showered. Your classroom is really cute. Look, Nicole's at school.
Oh my God.
Good job. She's like, I can do all the things today.
Whatever.
Teach, and now I'm coaching in my classroom.
Yes. Yeah.
How's the schooling going, Brittany?
Say again? We don't start till Monday. We're starting on Monday.
Okay.
I've just been getting up early and stuff to try to like get myself in the. God's gonna make me a morning person through this process. It's happening.
Yeah, he very well might.
I don't really have a choice.
It could happen, right? There could be worse things.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna get started so we can get Melissa to bed. I hope you give up for Melissa. He's getting up in like 5 hours. But anyway, 2D, tonight. Again, what day is this? Tonight we are so blessed to have Nicole Martin on the call. Nicole is a diamond coach, but she is making waves. She's steadily moved up in our like leaderboard every month in terms of like volume and Success Club. It's like something just clicked, and I think she's going to talk a little bit about that, but something just clicked with her, and all of a sudden she like took off. And so it's been really, really fun to watch, because in the beginning, she kind of struggled to hit SC6, and I wouldn't say struggled, but she wasn't hitting like high numbers. And now she's like blowing it out of the water. So it's really been fun to watch. And I will tell you, when I was doing a Zoom call, I hadn't met her yet. I was doing a Zoom call with like the Emeralds. I was doing quite a few Zooms back with like Emerald coaches at that point. And I remember sitting on those calls, and that's kind of where I got to know her in the beginning. And I was like, this girl has like the it factor, but you know, that thing that's hard to really pinpoint. She has that. And so it's always really fun when you get to know somebody and you can see that, and you can see that they like back up what they say they're going to do with action. And that's what she did and what she does. And so it's been really, really fun to watch her grow and watch her really come into her own. So I'm excited to turn it over to Nicole. And of course, the teacher she is, she's got slides for us and everything. So we're going to learn. You're going to learn today. Okay. Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So if you just jumped on, so today was our first day of virtual learning. So my husband and boys set up my office. Looks like I could be a meteorologist. They've got like the legit green screen, 2 big lights, you know, like when you were younger and you went to get like the photographer, the like big umbrella lights. Yeah, there's like 2 of those in my office now. So I am so excited to talk to you guys today. It is such an honor. Even just seeing, I'm overwhelmed, even just seeing the faces on here, because you absolutely all inspire me so much. And I feel like there's pieces of each of you that have helped me, and really just even today, like as I was preparing, just really thought and took a little snippets of times where I've talked to each of you and worked with each of you, that I've really just brought it together to try to make it work for myself. So I'm going to do, this is the teacher in me again, sorry girls. I'm going to do share screen with you. So give me 1 second. All right, so my theme for today is finding your shift. And you're gonna see as I go through, I really sat down and I've been writing since Corey asked me to do this call. I've been really writing out and trying to pinpoint moments and times where things really helped me go from where I sort of felt stuck and didn't really feel on my own to now where I'm feeling much more confident and I feel like I somewhat know what I'm doing. So I just wanted to start sort of, for those of you that don't know, once again, my name is Nicole Martin, and I actually joined Beachbody. I had to look back. I don't know when the last time that you looked back to your actual official start date, but I joined as a customer in June of 2017. And then I switched over to a coach, like most of you for the discount, in January of 2018. I fell in love with Shakeology. I started on the 21-day fix DVDs, and I instantly went through. I just kept repeating rounds over and over again and was able to lose a significant amount of weight. There's a picture of my family and my 2 boys. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and having Braden was a little bit of a struggle, but with Wyatt, we had to go through quite a few rounds at Shady Grove Fertility. I always like to tell the story. So Wyatt was actually the last round of IUI that we were able to afford. We had pretty much wiped out our savings. And I remember completely praying that it would work because I knew that it was going to be a while before we were able to try again. So I remember the May, it was a day at school whenever the nurse called from the Shady Grove Fertility and said that I was pregnant with Wyatt. So I always laugh because my teammate Dawn, who's in the picture there, she remembers that I was like crying and literally doing the Running Man in the middle of my classroom. So my 4th graders are like, wait, what's going on? What happened? So not only am I a Beachbody coach, but I'm also a 4th grade teacher. This started today, year 18 of teaching 4th grade. My boys are busy. They play hockey. I also teach religious education for Wyatt's class right now. So I am a pretty busy person. I really strive for schedules. I have lots of lists of things. I go through notebooks pretty much once a month to keep myself organized. So I hope today, as we go through, that I'm able to help you to see some things that I'm doing, or maybe some switch of some of your tasks to switch up, or anywhere that you're stuck, to see if we can get you to move with some action. So I'm actually going to have you guys for a minute. I'm going to have you grab your paper and your pencil. And I did this. I had a podcast that I did about a year ago, and I love the speaker that I listened to. They talked about I believe statements. And I know we have our vision and our mission, and those things are tied in. But when's the last time that you sort of stopped and thought about where you were at? So I want to give you a couple of minutes, and I just want you to jot down a couple of I believe statements. So it can be about all aspects of your life. So it can be about your faith, your relationships, your with Beachbody, other jobs that you're doing. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute and let you go ahead and write down a couple of things for me. So as you're still writing, or maybe you're finishing up, I can remember the first time that I had to do this, that it was hard for me. So sometimes I feel like it takes a while to sort of make goals that really affect you. And I remember not really being sure when I started where I was going. I mean, I already was a fourth grade teacher. I was busy with the boys. And so I wasn't sure what I was going to make of being a Beachbody coach and what I wanted to do with it. But I've really found that it's important on calls like this one, and even other trainings that we all do together, that we're sort of here to all help each other, and you're never really alone. And I think that's an important part of sort of our team, is that sometimes when we first jump in as a coach, that you sort of maybe feel like you are. But I found like a switch, and I found a difference when I started to lean into the team more. I started to make more connections and get to know other people on our team, and really lean on our team and see things they were doing and ask them about it. That makes us sort of different from other teams, because sometimes they are doing something and they don't ask each other, or someone's doing it and they don't share it with anyone. But we're different. So it's important that if you see something that someone's doing, just ask them. and really lean in to see like what's working for them and make it work for you. I can remember sort of at the beginning that I wasn't sure what step to take. So I put down, take the first step and then figure out what your next step is. So my first, the first time that I actually reached out to someone, because at first, a lot of customers that I had were teachers that I taught with, family, friends that I was close with that saw me a lot and saw that initial weight loss that I had, saw the change and the glow that I was having. So, but I had to figure out sort of from there where to go. So even though I wasn't sure exactly what I was doing, that first step and just going for it and not holding yourself back in that fear made such a huge difference for me. And then I was able to sort of think about what I was good at. So even though I didn't know and I didn't have all those years of experience of being a coach, someone said to me, fake it till you make it. And I didn't really as a teacher and with my background, I never really wanted to fake it. I wanted to be the valuable coach to my challengers. So I, as a teacher, just helping my students, I have found that giving extreme value. I know Corey says it's like the Disney experience. I take that to heart. I literally pour value in to my customers and my challengers, and I help them to fall in love with Beachbody like I have. So whether that is when they're first getting Shakeology, I am making sure that I am checking in with them and that they have found a blend that they like, they find a flavor they like. I'm checking in with them and seeing, that first week they start every day of just little text messages or private messages and saying, did you have your Shakeology today? What blend did you make? And helping them to sort of tweak it. I really found that has added to my volume because I'm having people that are reordering it every month. Where at the beginning, I was having people who were just getting it because it was discounted with the challenge pack and then never got it again. So, and I'm sure you guys can relate. I'm sure that you have a lot of customers that do that as well. So that's been a huge, as I write down on my many notebooks, I really like to keep track, and I will look in our subscription orders, and each month I put down about 2 months ahead, 3 months ahead to sort of see where orders are and to talk to my customers and make sure if they're doing Energize, if they're doing Recover, beach bars, whatever they're getting, I help them to make sure that they're loving what they're doing and they love having it and they can't imagine life without it. So I've sort of pulled today a couple of different things. Way back, we did an Arete training that was with the Emerge Surge. And there was something about that training that really spoke to me. And I remember asking my husband and saying to him, I know it costs this much money for a year, but there's something about this that when she talks sort of connects the pieces for me. And so I went through and did the training, and it comes with lots of modules, but it's all self-paced. And I remember her saying to us and going through a module that talked about sort of getting rid of that feeling where you're being salesy. And really, when you're inviting people and talking to them, she always says to sort of start with saying, I don't want to make any assumptions, so I'm going to ask. And I have to tell you, if you have a hard time, if there's times where you want to invite someone, you see that girl checking out your story every day, or you see that girl who is liking or loving your stories, and you're not really sure how to ask her or invite her, then I encourage you, write this down and, start it out and just say, I don't want to make any assumptions. You might just be cheering me on, and you might just be, scrolling through your phone and see me every day. But I'm going to ask, because I don't know whenever it could change your life like it changed mine. And really doing that and using that in situations where I sort of feel like, okay, I don't know what to say and I don't know how to ask them. Like, I just used this yesterday. We have a neighbor and she does Pure Barre, and I have gone back and forth. She asks me all the time. And I think I just in my head was like, okay, she does Pure Barre and, she teaches it, and she, won't want to do Beachbody. And I wrote to her and I just asked her, and I was like, I don't want to make any assumptions, but would you be interested in hearing about our group and what we're doing and some of our workouts? And she was like, oh my gosh, yeah. Like, can you send me, a sample of, the MBF workout that you've been doing? Like, that looks awesome. So, you just never know. And you want to make sure that you push yourself to sort of invite those people that, are watching you. And you might get ghosts, but you might not. And you might help somebody to sort of change their life. So, I struggled whenever I started, where I was getting lots of discount coaches, which is amazing and absolutely perfect. But at the beginning, when I started out, the way I was sort of looking at it is that when I saw Diamond and I did a Diamond, what was it? Push to Diamond group. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I remember saying to Corey, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. Like, every single person I have wants to do it for the discount, but has no intention of going any further. And I remember stopping and changing the way that I was looking at my discount coaches. And I remember Corey saying, sometimes your discount coaches end up being down the road some of your very best coaches that actually start to work the business. And I started to take that to heart. And as I started to take that to heart, I started to notice a switch even within my discount coaches, where maybe they weren't quite ready to start to be a coach themselves. They were starting to recruit people in and refer people to me. And some of them even started to feel comfortable where they were starting to add people to themselves. Like, I was helping them to add people that were, discount coaches for them. And that was like a huge switch. Like, I started to notice that my volume was increasing and my team was increasing, because they started to, little by little, the discount coaches started to get themselves out of being in that box of just being a discount. So, Corey knows, but not a lot of people know. So the Diamond that I have and that I made, I definitely got all myself. So I know sometimes that people get stuck and are like, I can't get to Diamond because I don't have anybody that is going to work the business. We go through lots of trainings where we talk about using your U+2 and having one person on each leg. And I use that. I literally just kept talking to tons of people and worked my way to my husband worked his way to having 2 discount coaches under him. And then on my other leg, I did the same thing. I had my friend who was the same thing that I helped her that she ended up having 2 on her side. So I don't want you to feel like, and I hope from this, the switch that I made, I kept making excuses. Like, well, I can't do that. I can't get to diamond because I don't have someone that will work the business. Like, if you're doing that, or if you're trying to get to 1 star or 2 star or 3 star, like, throw those excuses out the door. Because as soon as you do, you're going to keep yourself super focused, and you're going to be able to push yourself so much further than you've gone, because you have the control. You can do it. Whatever you put your mind toward, whatever at the beginning when we talked about what you believe, you can do that. So my next little part, I talk about don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. And that's exactly what I was just talking about. I thought because I didn't have those that were growing that I couldn't grow my business. I couldn't get to diamond. And as soon as I was able to get to diamond, I feel like the whole switch, like the way I presented myself was different. And, you know, I don't have this ginormous team of working coaches, but I definitely present myself that I do. And I finally do. Like, I finally have a coach, like somebody who wants to do it with me. And she got herself, I mean, she hardly has been doing it for a month or 2. And she got herself to Emerald, and then got herself to Emerald again already this month. It was like day 2 of, or September 2nd, and she already had 2 more coaches. So I think that when those moments where you feel like you're not going to get there, and that there's no way that you can do it, you can. You really can. And you just need to believe in yourself, and you need to just put your head down, work on inviting as many people as you can, and making sure that you're pouring into those people and giving them that Disney experience. I know right now with like some of the delays and things that we're having, this is the time to then, when you see that, just to say people, send them some of the little samples of the Energize packs, send them a beach bar in the mail, send them a bevy in the mail, and just say to them, like, thank you. I so appreciate for you understanding of the delays that are going on right now. You know, your items will get to you as soon as possible. And I think that sort of makes a huge difference. And people know that. Like, people want to stick with you, and people want to order every month when they know that you care about them and you're making connections with them. You're asking, you're not just talking to them about Beachbody. You're asking them, like, how are you? Especially with everything going on. Like, how are you? How is your family? How are you doing? And that really makes a difference in people's hearts and people's heads, where they just want to stick it out with you. They want to keep working, even though they don't right away reach their goal. They want to keep trying, and they don't want to give up on themselves. So I ask you to go back and look at your I believe statements for me again. I want you to read through them. In my last little part today, I just want to remind you that I believe that you can make a decision to look at those statements, and maybe there's ones there that you can take action on. I believe that you can take that next step, and I believe that you can reach that next goal. Take that shift, make that change to reach for things that you really want. Maybe that's with your faith. Maybe that's with your relationships, and maybe even with Beachbody. But I want you to keep going for it, because not only do I believe in you, but our team believes in you. And that's really huge. And that makes a big difference.
Forgot I was muted. So I'm just talking. Thank you, Nicole. While we have her here, does anybody want to ask any questions? Want to know how she does things? Anybody?
So I was talking a little bit about, I literally have, my husband was like laughing at me with the boys. Like my notebooks are like insane. I know, I love you girls. I'm actually sure when I started coaching, Stacy must have done a training and talked about all her notebooks. And I can remember being like, the teacher in me, I have notebooks for teaching stuff everywhere, but it helps me so much. Like every training I have marked down, I have the date. Every time we do one of these Arete calls, I have the date and I'm marking down. Even if not in that moment, but later on, where I have a little bit extra time, I always write down snippets of things that other coaches have said, other trainings. I'm pretty sure I have a whole one from Summit. And I sort of remember I didn't mention, but that was really big. Like if you do not already, and I know most of the faces that are on here probably already do, but like going to my first summit and being with all of you was life-changing. Like absolutely life-changing. Like it just to be with all of you and to feel that first time, I can remember being like, okay, are they really going to be how they are on the computer? And then I remember coming home and my husband saying like, you look like a different person. He was like, you are like glowing. You look like you had an amazing time. And I just did. There's such power when we're together. And that happened again. Like if you are not at Diamond, you need to get yourself at Diamond to get to our Diamond retreat. Like that was just another life-changing experience. Like I'm a 4th grade teacher and we don't get anything. Like I didn't even get a school mask. Like I had to go buy my own mask and my own, shield and everything else. So going on the Diamond retreat was just like, it was wow. And just being with everyone and the power that is behind that and how you come back and the action that you feel and how much stronger and more confident that you feel when you're talking to people is just huge. People feel that. People notice that. People see that we're leaning in and we talk as a team and we cheer each other on. I've had my mom before where she noticed where our posts that we do, I know Susan mentioned this about how we jump in to support each other's posts. Like people everywhere don't do that. Susan was right.
Other teams don't do that, guys. Like,
no.
Coaches on other teams, what we do is so incredibly rare. They always ask me, how do you get your team to do that? And I'm like, it's just what we do. I mean, you don't really have to do that because the love that people see is so genuine. And I hear that a lot. Like people always say, that's what drew me to your team. I can see how much you guys love each other and whatever, but I completely second that about like the event. Because you have these friendships virtually, and it's like, it's real to you, but at the same time, you're like, I don't know. It's kind of awkward, but you just don't really know like how real it is. And then you meet people in person and all of a sudden it's like so much deeper. It's not that like people are who they seem to be, but it's like so much better. And so it's just like these bonds that form that are amazing. And I completely agree about the Diamond Retreat too. Get your rear end to the Diamond Retreat because that you will meet the best friends in your life, like on the Diamond Retreat. We just bond, and especially if you go like multiple years and you just develop these relationships with people who become literally your best friends in the world. So it's yes, Keely, get to the Diamond Retreat.
Yes, Keely, definitely. Yes.
You need to be there, sister.
Yeah. So it's funny. I know that Kristen knows this, but I actually, I went to high school with Melanie Mitro. And I can remember the funny thing is when I joined, I did not know. I knew who she was, but I didn't know this.
I didn't know this.
Yes. You didn't know this? I know Kristen did. Kristen was like, what? You didn't tell me this?
I didn't know this.
So I grew, well, I of course, I live in Virginia, but I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we went to, where I grew up is like little farm country. And so we went to high school. She went to a different, we have like 2 elementary schools and 2 middle schools. So she went to the other elementary school and middle school, but then we were in high school together. So she's a year younger than I am. So,
wow. Did you know her then?
I did, but then of course, like we moved to Virginia, and then I never, like there was only like a few people that I still stayed connected with, mostly because then we went to college, like we went to the same college. But I was never like, back home, they call them hometown heroes. Like I didn't stay at home. I didn't like I didn't marry someone else that I went to high school with. And so
Did she?
Is she what?
Did she marry someone she went to high school with?
Met him in
No.
college.
He's not. Okay.
No,
Okay, I didn't know where they met.
Yeah.
They met
they
in
met in
college.
college.
That's funny.
Yeah. So like when we go home, of course, like I go home to like see my parents and my in-laws and my sister. So I don't really end up seeing a lot of like high school friends anymore, but.
That's crazy. So you weren't walking down the halls going, she's going to be somebody in life. You're going to be Beachbody famous one day.
Actually, she was like really quiet and like really soft-spoken.
She talks, but she still is really. About that a lot.
Yeah.
Still pretty quiet. And I think you can tell it takes a lot of effort for her to
Get this out of here.
have. What is that? Is that cake?
The cake.
It's the biggest, tallest.
It's my birthday. I told Corey to get it out so we could have some tonight, and he thinks he's funny. Brought it in here for everybody, for me to eat the whole thing, apparently.
Thanks, Corey. You're sharing cake with all of us.
Tell him that's rude because it's my favorite cake and I cannot have any through the screen. He's fired.
It's her favorite.
Have any other questions? Anything for Nicole?
So I think Stacy did before to show, I actually do the same thing. So like I put down, and you can sort of see, like July, I go through and I use the subscription. I use the back office a lot. Like I'm in the back office every day. That's part of sort of like my power hour. I go in, and so I end up check marking, and I even keep track of, so let me see one where there's pen. I keep track of the volume on orders as they're going through, or people that change them. Now it shows, which at first I couldn't figure out what that was. They showed delayed subscriptions. So it shows you the date, how far someone delays theirs. When I see that, especially now with the orders taking longer to get to people, I always make sure to check in. Right when it started, I had a customer who always got vegan chocolate, and she pushed it 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden panicked because was saying that it was going to be delayed and didn't have any. So thank goodness, like I had a bunch of packets, and she literally bought every packet that I had, because she was like, I'm not going a day without this. Like I need Shakeology. Please, please let me have your packets. So I really check in with people when I see them delay their subscriptions, to check in with them for that very reason. Let's see what else. And then I do ahead. So like I don't only have September, but sorry, I can't talk, long day of talking. Not only do I have September, friends, but I also have October and November and December already written in my notebook. And as you are sort of coaching longer, sometimes you have people that have not switched to discount coaches or regular coaches. And it gives you a chance to sort of see ahead of time where your SC points are coming. So I look ahead of time and I see months in advance, like, okay, so, this is where like my stable SC points are, especially as the school year starts. Those of you that have kids, like it gets sort of crazy and hectic. And so you really have to focus in and hone in and see like, okay, like I know these are, you know, my SC points, and I know, you know, that I may have to that month double or triple my invites, you know, double my connections with people that I'm making to sort of help. And right now with school starting, like those are easy connections you can make to people. As people are putting up their first day of school pictures, connecting with people and saying, you know, like, oh, what grade, you know, is so-and-so going into? And, oh, I have, you know, a 7th grader and a 2nd grader. And just opening up that communication. That might not be something that turns into anything right now, but I found that like months down the road, like that, they've turned into things.
Yeah, I have that happen a lot. I think it builds the trust, you know, and just like there's so many times when I get points that I don't intend to get necessarily, that just come because I've been talking to people. And so when they think of fitness, they just come to me because they're like, I think I want to do that program that you were talking about last week, just because we have a good relationship and they've been talking to me ongoing for years or whatever. And it's not necessarily about Beachbody at all. It might not have even talked about it in years, and they come. That's kind of what you want to happen. You want to be so consistent over time that people just automatically think of you as the fitness person. Like you're their fitness friend. And so if they have a question about fitness, they're coming to you. If they have a question about nutrition, they're coming to you. If they want to get in shape, they are coming to you. And if they have a friend who wants to, they're referring them to you. And so I really feel like that's another benefit of just being incredibly consistent over time, because they see people, they know other coaches probably who fall off the grid, who start and then go somewhere else and do something different and whatever, because I mean, there are not that many who stick with it. And that's what it takes, honestly. And so anyway, just a little aside there, but yeah, I mean, just being a good conversationalist and not being afraid to start conversations and talk to people is huge. Because they will come out, they'll think of you when they think of fitness. And that's important. If they're following your feed at all, which they probably are, because you're talking, you know, behind the scenes. Anyway, yeah, without dragging that on any further. Okay, I don't think anybody has any questions.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, what?
Is it me?
Go ahead.
I have a question. So, like for Instagram stories, I have like a couple that, you know, like constant watching. And then I message them like maybe previous months. And then they don't, you know, respond. And then I did try again the next month and they don't respond. This is through Messenger. So, yeah, I don't know.
So I find on Instagram that it's a little bit different than Facebook. So Facebook, I feel like, is a lot of your friends and your family and people that might be like in mom groups with, or your kids go to the same schools.
Yes, this is cool.
Instagram is a little bit different. So Instagram, I feel like I don't message people in Messenger first. I go in and I look at and comment. I think, Corey, did you say before, is it like three likes, on different pictures and then commenting?
Yeah, so the 1 through 5 is what it's, or 5 through 1 is what that method is called. But yeah.
So I really go through, I find like connecting with people. So like on Instagram, there was like a 4th grade teachers. And so a lot of us are now doing Canvas. It's the program we're using. And so I got connected in Instagram and the Canvas. And there were a couple of the girls that were there that have been watching my stories and, you know, like liking or throwing hearts at my stories on Instagram. But I didn't go right into sort of Messenger to message them about that because I don't know who they are. So instead, like I looked at their Instagram and their pictures and sort of did the same thing, like found to see, like, is this someone that I can make a connection with? Is this someone that I can, can see being part of my team, or, like one of my challengers, and just sort of talk to them like you would talk to a neighbor. And I found that has sort of been, there was a hockey mom a few months ago that we were doing the same thing. We would comment. She was talking about when her rink was open, and I was talking about what was going on with ours, and we just sort of connected that way. And then all of a sudden one day she wrote, like, I must have put in the stories about starting a next month challenge group. And she wrote me and was like, can you send me information about that? Like, I need to do something. I want to change something up. And so that's sort of been helpful for me. Corey, I don't know if is that something you sort of do too?
Yeah. Yeah. On Instagram, though, if they're watching my stories, they're going to get another invite. So forever and ever until the end of the world. So as I said last week, until I die. So
Until they die.
Like, if you're still going to watch my stories, then I'm going to keep inviting you. So if you unless you tell me you don't want me to, then I'm going to keep doing it. And so I just do it a little bit differently each time, but I still just invite them continually. If they're going to keep watching, then they're going to keep getting an invite. So I always think about it like, if somebody's in your store, if you had a retail store, people keep coming into your store, even though they've been in before and they didn't buy anything, you're not just going to let them come in and not say anything to them. You're going to still greet them at the door and see if you can help them find something or whatever. So I think of it in like that, in those terms. And it's helpful for me to kind of always think of it that way, because as I said, I guess in the, I don't know where I said it, maybe the Off to the Races chat earlier this week. I have no idea where I was going with this. I stopped. I was thinking about the Off to the Races thing, and then I completely lost my train of thought. What I was going to say is Instagram is very different than Facebook in the sense that people go on Instagram for inspiration or to buy. So people buy things from Instagram. People do not browse Facebook to look for things to buy, unless like a marketplace or something like that. But that's why you're on Instagram. Like, you want to be entertained or inspired, or you want to buy something. So I personally I've never bought anything off Facebook, but I've bought things from Instagram. I'll go check out, like, if somebody has an outfit, I'll go look at their like to know it, or go look to, whatever. I'll look at their stuff. There are a lot of influencers who have recommendations for this sale or that sale or whatever. But that's why they're there. And so they're not people I know in real life. The people who follow me on Instagram are not the same people who I'm friends with on Facebook. And so because they're there and they chose to follow you, the people who are on Facebook who are your friends are there because you've known them in real life at some point, or you have a mutual friend, or you see they're an acquaintance, like you might see them at your kid's school, or you might run into them at church or whatever. You're going to see them. So they didn't sign up for your fitness, whatever. Like, they're just your friend in real life. And so I do think that you should still talk about your groups and all that stuff on Facebook. But Instagram is completely different. They chose to be there. They came and they seeked you out for your fitness, or they continue to follow you. They continue to watch your stories because they like what you have to say. They like your brand, they like your inspiration, they like whatever it is that you do. They connect with you. And so it's a choice. And that distinction makes me a lot more brave on Instagram. So I will automatically invite people on Instagram because I know that they chose to be there, because they like something that I have put out, they like my content, or they vibe with me or whatever. And so I find it a lot easier to invite right off the bat there. And I mean, I know they're there, like I said, for a reason. If they continue to watch my stories and they continue to come back, then there's a reason for that. And so I will invite them and continue to invite them. But Facebook, I don't feel the same way necessarily. So Facebook is a little bit different animal because, like I said, those are people you know in real life and you could run into them, and I don't want things to be awkward. On Instagram, I will never see those people, I mean, more than likely. So if they, don't respond or whatever, who cares? I don't know them. They don't know me. It's all good. So unless you somehow do know them or whatever, then obviously that's a little bit different situation. But for the most part, I use Instagram to find my people, and they're not people I already have in my life. So like you'll notice, I don't follow other coaches. I don't, I just try, that's what I use to expand my market. So I'm not, Facebook, I don't. Facebook, it's different. But anyway, we can have a whole other call on all of that. But the bottom line is be brave on Instagram. You can invite them over and over and over until they either die or agree to join.
Yeah. I think it was a
That's
big,
what I always say. And I literally make a joke and I'll say that, like, I'm just going to keep inviting you, until I die. And eventually they relent and they're like, okay, fine, send me some information or whatever. But I mean, just always try to like laugh at yourself and just don't take yourself too seriously. I think that's important too. Just be like if they're ghosting you or whatever, like I'll just totally like call them out on it and say whatever. But like, you have to remember, as a mom, I know you know this, I do this in fact, I just remembered I need to respond to a text right now. I am the world's worst about getting a message and not responding right. Distracted by my kids. Like that happens a lot. Like I'll just get distracted with something else and I'll forget to respond. I'll mean to go back and respond, but I'll forget. And so like I have a text message waiting for me to respond to, but that happens a lot. And so don't assume that they just are ghosting you forever and ever. Amen. Like that's not necessarily the case. They could have very well have just gotten distracted and forgotten to come back to it. So just don't assume the worst. I don't know if that's helpful at all.
Hey, Corey, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So with Instagram, is it mostly through your hashtags that people find you? Like how do these people that you don't know end up finding you on Instagram?
Probably my hashtags. I geotag a lot too, which is your location tags at a store, or if you're in a specific location, I'll tag that. If we get takeout from like a favorite restaurant that's like mostly organic, farm to table, like I always tag that and talk about them. And like they all follow me, all the restaurants, and so they they comment and they interact with me too on my stuff, which is really cool. And so that's helpful because I always like them and give them love in return. I don't know if you have a lot of restaurants like that where you are, but we do here, and so that's a good place. And I'll interact with their followers because if I love them, then their followers are also probably going to vibe with me. But the biggest way right now that I'm doing it is influencers. So people who I really like, authors primarily right now, but like it could be a personality or an author, it could be a musician, whatever, somebody who just is like your absolute favorite. You love their message, you love everything about them, whatever. Then I actually was just telling JL, this is what I do today. I set up notifications. So when they post, I'm notified. So what I do, as soon as if it's convenient in my schedule, that as soon as that account, but they're large accounts. So like usually like 100,000 people or more, sometimes like 75-ish, but big accounts, 75,000-ish or more. So big accounts. I go ahead, but not too big, because if it's too big, I should say this too, caveat. If it's too big, then you're going to get people in there who are not just your people. You're going to get a mix. And I don't want like Nike. I'm going to get some people who are my people, but not everybody's going to be my people, who also like Nike. So you want somebody who's a lot more niche than that. And so usually if you find somebody who's pretty niche, then they're not going to have millions of followers. They're going to have, maybe 75,000-ish. So, you could find smaller accounts too. If it's exactly like your person, like this, we would be best friends in real life. She's my person, then it could be much smaller and it could still work really well for you. But I have my notifications set, so I'm alerted when they post. So when they post, I go and I like it and I interact with the people who are already commenting. Because when you do that, they're already active on Instagram. So if they're active on the platform, that's a huge plus for us, because we want people who are already active on social media. It's a lot, like the learning curve is so much easier if they're already active on social media. So, and plus we know, it's difficult when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody and you message them and you don't hear back for 2 weeks, because they're not ever on social media. And so it's a lot easier if you just go in as soon as like Jenny Allen, for instance. Okay, so she's an author. So as soon as she posts something, if you get notified and then you go and you start interacting with people in her feed. If you're commenting on somebody else's comment, oh my goodness, me too, whatever you have to say about it. But it should be genuine and authentic or whatever, but they're going to go, okay, who's this person talking to me? And they're going to come look at your account. And so I just try to connect with people that way, and I get a lot of new followers that way. So that's been my most recent thing. Okay. Sabrina has to go because Corey talks too much. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to go to, I don't want to keep you guys so late. Anyway, y'all have an awesome evening. Thank you, Nicole. Loved your message tonight, and we are so thankful for you. So, good night.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.